in the beginning of my career, it was never about कि I've got a budget from a producer, मैं 500 पहले अंदर कर लेता हूँ and फिर कपड़ों पे खर्च करूँगा. नहीं, मेरा हमेशा ये था कि that actor should call me back. So I think today's time we have become very stereotyped that this person can only do this and that person. I want to do everything, and art has no branding. If as someone like me who you said comes from a 3-decade experience and a very, very busy career, if I won't do it, then who will? It's like even if I stop costumes, suppose if I say okay, I'm not doing costumes anymore and I'm only going to concentrate maybe on producing films and doing movies, still people will comes to costumes, will think of me.
And the romance is also like not the Shah Rukh Khan, Kajol or those, you know, that kind of romance. Some more unsaid, more कुछ पहले जैसा romance.
Hi guys, welcome to Screen. So we're all having cake because you're turning producer.
That too, a sugar-free cake.
Yeah. 35 years after you've entered the industry.
That's right.
Yeah. But I remember when you turned a fashion designer and you brought a lot of trends into the business, like you introduced the showstopper. You were also styling a lot of actors, which was not the case, I mean...
At that time.
Yeah, I remember now it's a trend, but at that time you got a lot of flack from the fashion community that why are actors being involved in fashion. But now that you've turned a producer and you've consciously decided that you're going to focus on the story, and it's going to be about stories and not about stars. Did that ever come from that backlash, this decision?
No, I think for me it's always been following the instinct, following what the gut says, following what your heart says.
Yeah.
And I think in my life it's worked for me because it's come with honesty and purity. And I think that's exactly how I approach every job of mine. And even in I remember in my work also, I still remember years ago, I mean that's probably before you were born, I remember the budget was given to me of a costume 2,500 and I had spent 5,000 in it. So for me it was always, in the beginning of my career, it was never about कि I've got a budget from a producer, मैं 500 पहले अंदर कर लेता हूँ and फिर कपड़ों पे खर्च करूँगा. नहीं, मेरा हमेशा ये था कि that actor should call me back. That they should like my work so much. And I approach my work till date like this. Even in my stores, a lot of times when a garment someone is trying, and just now I just ran into a fitting we are at my headquarters, and I just added some more work on the garment. Now a lot of times my assistants look at me कि time कम है, कैसे करेंगे? But I'm very pure to what I'm seeing. And that approach I think has worked for me, and that's exactly the same approach I have as a producer. And I'll try my best to be true to the script, to the actors. I think they work, working closely with the director, aiding the director, and also putting my right mind out there. Because I come from a larger perspective, because I'm working with very young people, I'm working across the globe, I'm working every day, multiple work. We are just going to launch a big vertical of accessories, for which I was just now in Italy. So I think, that's how I approach it. So that's why I'm going to approach it with all that honesty, and whatever cast suits it best is what we will go with.
Yeah. But you know, there's a perception that if you turn producer or if you make films, there will be a certain kind of films because of the brand associated with you. But how did you reach out to actors, to storytellers, scriptwriters, directors, that this is the kind of movies that I want to make? Because they would have that perception. So how did you break that while developing?
I think by choosing it. I think it's already broken from all the 3 films that have starting the stage 4 production of phase 1 is. Also I think that I think people stereotype you.
Yeah.
We all do. We do it with everyone. I've even seen, we always think that this person will work in this role. But there's that, if you see in olden days, the producers took that chance. That's how Shatrujit became from a villain to a hero. Vinod Khanna. Shah Rukh Khan also did two, Anjam and Dirt, and then he did Dilwale. So I think today's time we have become very stereotyped that this person can only do this and that person. I want to do everything. And art has no branding. If as someone like me, who you said comes from a 3-decade experience and a very, very busy career, if I won't do it, then who will? So, I think if you work with sincerity, one day money follows. But money is not my goal. It never has been.
So talking about Gustaakh Ishq, Vibhu, I remember at the early days you produced or you directed 2 short films, which were also, I mean, I remember one called which was Pocket Watch,
Chabi Wali Pocket
Chabi
Watch.
Wali Pocket Watch, and the other one, both of them were about poets.
Yeah.
If I am not wrong, yeah.
You're talking about Chaurus Chand and
Chaurus
Chabi Wali.
Chand, yeah. So I just want to know, what is this fascination with poets?
I love poetry, I love poets, and I love the life that a poet lives. You know, you can't become a poet overnight. It cannot be that you see something and you click it. Poetry, I think, is always an evolved medium where so much years of suffering gets into you, and then you probably come out with one line, one couplet, one new thought. And poets have always changed the world. It's not generals, it's not war heroes. It's actually poets who give you hope in these days of war. It is hope that you live next day for, which is always given by poets. So I am deep, like Pash was the poet that had made Chaurus Chand on, a Punjabi revolutionary poet, completely different sort of writing. You know, Pash has always been one of my ideals. Then to make Chabi Wali, which was also about a poet, and this one is again about a poet. So poets keep coming back to me because I think I resonate so much with them. There is so much left unsaid in poetry. Correct. You know, which is also my character as such. Like you guys will say that half the time I don't say things, and I think मैंने तो बोल दिया ना. I've already said that. Why did Vijay not do it? Because he said, you've not told me that. Oh, sorry. So it's always that. That's why I love poetry, and it keeps coming back to me, reflecting in all my work, and I love it.
Vijay, to get into this world of poetry, did you also read up on any poets, any famous poets? Was that part of your prep work?
I had always had a soft corner for poetry, and I used to look up to it, and I used to improve my bhasha and lehja and everything as a student of acting. But when the script came to me, I remember deep diving into falling in love all over again with something that I had lost touch with, which was my profound love for poetry. And the script had enough in it. There are a couple of them in the trailer, but there are far many in the film as well. And I was playing ball with an actor who's played Ghalib on screen and several other shires. So I had to really up my game and get myself to the speed. It was honestly one of the most endearing and learning experience for me. It was tough because इतना आसानी से निकलते नहीं है मुझसे इस तरह के अल्फाज,
और बहुत ठंडी भी थी।
हाँ, ठंडी भी थी, तो कँपाते हुए कैसे शायरी होती है, ये भी मैंने एक्सपीरियंस किया. But I love a good challenge, and I'm glad Vibhu threw that kind of a challenge at me, and I had enough support from the producer who ran with the idea of casting me in this part and putting me out there in this light.
Manish, I've always thought that you've also brought a lot of craft to your work as a costume, as a stylist in movies. Like say, for example, you know the looks of Kareena Kapoor, Bole Churiya, that would get popular. But you would see a Kal Ho Na Ho and you would see how you styled Jaya Bachchan. You can see that that's a Christian woman in New York of a certain age. You can see it in like one glimpse, and you can say that.
Yeah.
And that's been the case with so many of your movies, like Urmila and Satya, Rani and Yuva. Those have been such rooted characters, but you've presented them so well, but so authentically. So do you think you don't get enough credit for that authenticity, for bringing craft to your or is it all about glamour? Does that overshadow it?
I think glamour will always overshadow it.
Yeah.
Also, I think touch wood, and luckily I've also had many hit films, where big films where the costumes also became very famous. So I think that will always take over. And it's like, even if I stop costumes, suppose if I say, okay, I'm not doing costumes anymore, and I'm only going to concentrate maybe on producing films and doing music, still people will comes to costume, they'll think of me. So I think some things get branded, and some things get just chapoed, in your mind, for stamped for life kind of thing. So it's absolutely fine. I embrace it.
But does that not bother you that you don't get enough credit for the craft part of it?
I think I've got a lot of credit in my life for a lot of things that I've done, and maybe filmmaking would be that way to get that credit. Like already people are surprised with my 3 different choices of films because they're not really what you would expect out of me. So I think there are different ways, and I'm absolutely fine.
Vibhu, you've worked extensively with Sanjay Leela Bhansali. Is there some part of his process that has seeped into yours?
There's so many things that I've learned from him when it comes to craft, from detailing to music कहाँ पे शुरू होना चाहिए, pauses, silence, drama while
Colors,
writing
yeah.
it, colors. Of course, वो तो है ही. But one thing that I've learned so much from him and imbibed it in my heart is that he would keep telling me one thing, that ये अभी हो गया ना, this will be imprinted for time. Forever. I will not be able to go back and change it ever again. अगर अभी तुम्हें लग रहा है, go change it, whatever you want to do it now. Now is the moment, which I keep telling Vijay also, Vijay एक और कर दो. Vijay is like नहीं यार वो अच्छा तो लग नहीं नहीं भाई इसको ना थोड़ा ऐसा बोल देना, हाँ then I'll have a nicer sleep tonight. It will be imprinted forever. Nobody will be able to ever change it. That's what has always lived. That he's told me, whatever you do it with all your heart and conviction. Half-hearted करना ही नहीं है कुछ काम.
Fatima is not here, but when I met her during Metro in Dino Junket, she was telling me that she's been doing these romantic films one after the other. She did that, and Ab Jaisa Koi, and now this. And she said that they've restored my faith in romance because of that. But since you've not done so many in recent past, so many romantic films,
I
that
did
she has.
I did like just a bit of it in Jaane Jaan, unsaid one, but yeah, I haven't done any romance.
Yeah. Because these were like full blown that she did.
Yeah.
So while working with her, would she, because she came so prepared, would
Yeah.
she give you any tips on how to crack that chemistry, crack those moments really well?
I started the shoot earlier than her.
Okay.
I spent like 6-7 days. I got acclimatized to the weather as well, and to the director and the text and the character, and so I was a bit warmed up by the time she came. She was the nervous one when she entered, so I think I was the one
It was the
comforting
other
her.
way.
You held her hand.
I held her
Yeah.
hand and I was like, and the romance is also like not the Shah Rukh Khan, Kajol or those, that kind of romance. Some more unsaid, more kuch pehle jaisa romance. So it wasn't a big ask. It was in fact a more nuanced, more not pronounced kind of a romance, which I particularly enjoy doing.
Manish, you work with so many iconic directors. Now that you're becoming a producer and would soon become a director, I just want to know that very briefly on what you've learned from some of those directors, like say Yash Chopra, if you can just tell us.
I think those directors, I mean, many of them have been very pure to their work and still had a very commercial lens, which I respect a lot because I feel that their work, that is the reason that it reached to a wider audience. It's very easy to make a beautiful painting and keep it in your home and say you're a great artist. But if it's not reaching to the world, then you're the artist. So, but that doesn't take away from not being the artist. So I don't mean it that you're lesser of an artist if your work is not mixed with commerce. But what I mean is that if you ask for my personal choice, I like the blend of reaching to a wider audience. And that is the reason that I took a strong step towards Gustaakh Ishq coming in the theatres, because I feel that otherwise it's a lot of times will get unnoticed. So it's always nicer to reach to a much wider audience, and for that you need to have a wider mind, and a very cooperative, or very which is what I saw with these great directors, whether it was Yash Chopra, whether it's been even when I worked with Sanjay Bhansali when I did his first film Kamoshi, then Aditya Chopra or Imtiaz Ali, which I worked in 2 films, Rockstar, and
Even Karan.
Karan, of course, Karan goes without saying, his family, and so I think filmmaking is a director's medium and an actor's medium mostly, and I think that it's very important for us to sometimes just leave the actor and say, "Acha, aap isko kaise karoge?" Or the director to say, "Ki director bole, nahi, main aise karunga." So I think it's a very collaborative medium, and I think that's the fun of it, right? Collaboration is key for me.
Yeah. As a filmmaker, all those great filmmakers are in your DNA, but there's also like filmmaker like Ram Gopal Varma, who you worked with extensively.
That's right.
Is there something you've picked up from him as a?
I think one thing what I loved about Ramuji, and I did so many films with him, his clarity, extremely clear. and even reckless, you know. But he just knew how he has to. He can shoot a simple red dress, you know, aesthetic and erotic. You know, he can just shoot that. So if you see Urmila's wearing a red dress, but she's running against that brown, you know, very earthy sandstones, and it looks like something. So he had a great visual. He's quite fast actually at his visual. So I think that works on, because I'm also a very fast decision maker and a mover. Like, I'm not a person who dwells too much. You know, I take it like I move, and he also, I think, as even Yashji is like that. Even Karan is like that. They're very fast movers. They're very clear, and they've got the thing and they move. And I think I like that, and I get that because I'm that person as well. And I think so I think that's one thing I learned from Ramu. Very clear of what he wants, and very like, he would make an ordinary shot look so great in his own genre. Urmila is walking down the stairs, and when I saw it on screen, I was like, "Acha, ye mind mein tha," you know.
Yeah.
But very fast, very fast.
Finally, Vijay, we've seen you in a full range these couple of years. Murder Mubarak. There's been this film. What's next for you?
What's next? We have Gustaakh Ishq coming in theaters.
And hopefully more romantic films. I would love to see Vijay more as a hero.
I don't think his next is a romance.
My next is called, it might be Matka King, which I have done with Nagaraj Manjule, which is a series for Amazon, set in the 60s, and I am absolutely in love with what we've created. And then there is something that I recently finished with Hansal sir. It's again a series for Netflix. Then I'm getting into something in the first week of December.
Okay. You can't talk about it.
Huh?
You can't talk about it.
Can't talk about it yet. I think Hansal wala bhi bhulna nahi tha.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
And congratulations. I'm very happy. You've always told stories, and now you'll be telling more stories in a different form.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.